Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very, very first episode ever of Thunder and Spark. I'm Dusty Thunder, this is Candy Thunder, and this is Tony Spark. I'm basically just here as their podcast fluffer at this point to get them started.
It's the very first, and it could be the last. We don't know.
You don't. Nobody knows what's going to happen here.
My chair is rolling downhill. I need brakes.
Clearly, everything is very stable and very well put together at this point. You will see a lot of evolution with this show specifically. So just don't pay attention to any of the setup stuff that we have going on right now. This is all very temporary. Even the fact that I'm here is going to change. So this is going to be different than what you're used to seeing from the Dusty Thunder side of things. So I'm really interested to see what you guys do here, and this is all them.
Me too.
We're all just along for the ride at this point, to be honest.
We're both like, what are we doing next, Dusty? What are we doing next, Dusty?
I've never even seen this document that is the outline here before.
That's funny because I posted it on Instagram and you accepted the collab.
You posted a redacted version, like a photo of it.
Yeah, it was redacted.
It was redacted.
I didn't want people to know the
highly
stories.
valuable information. Shows how much you should pay attention to our Instagram.
I did accept the collab on it, but I looked at the document and it was redacted. I even zoomed in on it. I'm like, okay.
See, that's what we're afraid of.
Or
if
when
we
you
would
have
had the
seen it,
information,
you just
you'd have
haven't
known.
seen the full.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gang up on Dustin.
You can clearly see what he has to deal with on a daily basis.
Which brings us to outline point one here. How we got here and what Candy Thunder and Tony Spark do behind the scenes for Dusty Thunder. So take it away.
Tony?
Well, I read and go through a lot of the follower submissions.
Tony reads.
I read a lot of them. I read all of them. So for those of you who think that they don't get seen, they do. So yes, it's my fault if they don't make it on there. So I'm sorry.
He reads all your tea.
Yeah, all of it. And there's a lot. There's a lot. And so I help out with that and help pick the stories for the live, help with packing up and sending out sticker orders.
Don't sell yourself short here. Tony is also heavily involved in the overall strategy of the Dusty Thunder content.
Yes.
And specifically the lives, like how we do the lives, the evolution of the lives. He's really involved with that too. And as you saw from the last live that we did, gets pulled on camera sometimes in an impromptu fashion.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Truly wouldn't be possible without Tony.
It really wouldn't.
Well, I do what I can.
I mean, he's okay.
You are the spark to our thunder.
You know, hey.
Heyo.
I feel like I need to move.
Okay. Now, Candy Thunder.
Yes.
Explain your involvement.
Okay, so while Tony does the stories for the live, I do the stories that we use as posts or the compilations. And I will say that finding those stories, and Tony and I both agree on this, really, really sucks our soul because it's hard to go and read a bunch of AITAs because it's really just a bunch of people that have issues and problems. And while we enjoy giving feedback and reading those, it's hard to find stories that... without going down
and as many of them that are, have the funny part of them and like the what moments, there's a lot of them that are really kind of sad and like really do feel bad for that person and their situation. So yeah, sometimes you have to take a break from reading them after a while because they can get heavy sometimes.
We have topics that, and Tony and I have agreed on, and Dustin has absolutely like no way, no how. This is not going. I'm not going to read stories about these certain topics. And Tony and I have our own list of topics that we don't like to touch, just because they're volatile, and you never know. It can split your audience, or it's just really sad.
And some stories are just too spicy.
Some stories
are spicy.
Some stories are thunder after dark type stories, but yeah, they're the most. Some of those are the ones that get read in the office, and yeah.
And there are reactions like this for everyone.
So I said buzz.
Yeah. Most of the time people know when I'm reading stories because they'll just hear from my desk, what?
Okay, so
I guess I can finish what I do.
Oh yeah,
she's really the brains behind that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I am. No, I'm just kidding.
She is not to toot her own horn, but she is.
And I know we've said this before, but somebody had asked again on the live yesterday. And Ava was the one who originally found AITA stories on TikTok, and loved listening to them and got me listening to them. And then we said, hey, Dustin could do this. And so we put that together, and you guys can go listen to that on other podcasts. But so I post daily on TikTok. Dustin handles YouTube and Spotify. And normally when you're engaging with Dusty Thunder on TikTok, it's actually me. Spill that tea.
Yeah. Most of the time. I do respond quite a bit.
He does. He jumps in once or twice a day, but it's throughout the day. It's normally me.
Some of those posts get a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And it takes it's a lot to keep up with.
Yes, very hard to keep up with.
Well, and I find myself being less and less able to engage with comments nowadays.
I do try to, like all of our VIPs, like subscribers on TikTok. I love that those get bumped to the top because we want to make sure that they feel seen and heard, and not to like say that we don't interact with other comments, but I do love the fact that they're showing up for us and we want to show up for them by making sure that they, like, we see their stuff and we see their comments and appreciate them interacting.
And those members of the Storm will go to battle too.
Yeah, I love that.
They'll go to battle, and they're really good at supporting everybody too. You know, they're really good at offering support to other people, like in the comments, who have shared a story similar to that, and you know, ways to help them, which has really been neat. It's been neat to see on the Dusty Thunder subreddit too, is that people chiming in there and trying to actually help people through a situation, which is good, instead of just what a lot of online commenting is just bickering back and forth, which we don't see a lot of. Thankfully, it happens. Every now and then you got to hit that delete and block every now and then. But
yeah, we have blocked a few accounts. Not that many, I don't think. Not too many to note, but a couple people have been blocked just because they were trolls, and we don't want that. Go troll somewhere else. Yeah, there's plenty of accounts on TikTok. We don't really see it that much on YouTube, but TikTok.
It's hard to get to that point too. It's hard to get to the level of troll where you're gonna get blocked. But if you cross mama.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, I can take a lot of crap about me personally. Like, I don't think that it would affect me that much. Maybe not. But when you talk about Dustin or Tony or really just anyone in our office or my kids, family, like
Mama Bear comes out.
I get pissed. I get really angry. And that was hard for me to, now I'm more calm about it, but there are some things that piss me off.
Well, I think we realize more now that we don't take it as personally now when people who are trolling say shit, because they're clearly just trolling, and it's not. They're
internet people,
right?
Internet people aren't real.
Right.
It's not a reflection on us at all.
But there's a learning curve, and I think for any content creator like that, not to take it personally. I mean, that's some hard shit.
Let's be real. The first negative comment about this podcast, and we're probably done.
Yeah, Tony and I'll just clam up, and we're.
You know
over.
what? That's it. Fine. They hate us. It's all over. But Candy's really the one who keeps the wheels rolling on the bus.
This is true.
Brains behind the operation.
Granny's gaggle. Granny's gaggle.
And in the grand scheme of things, these two are the brains behind the operation, and I'm just the monkey that gets in front of the camera and dances. And
but you're such a good dancer.
You really are.
Apparently. But it's the time commitment behind the scenes is massive, and it takes so much work behind the scenes to keep this bus moving. And these two are really the ones that put in the majority of that work. So I am eternally grateful for both of you. And I'm very excited to see you both in front of the camera now and doing this kind of thing, because I think you're both going to be great at it. You're already immersed in the content. You're already immersed in the feedback. So it's just simply now a matter of putting a camera in front of you for it. So, and I know you're going to get into different kinds of content here, which is great. So
all of the things that you love too, this type of content you just love.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. So that brings us to why are we doing this?
We have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I wrote as a number, little I under A. Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this? Like, no, really. Why?
Okay, so I thought that was a point for like you had an idea for an answer.
No, that was really
for two people who are much more comfortable being behind the scenes and helping you be the one on camera. For some reason, we thought it was a good idea for us to do it. So yeah, hopefully people like it, or we're going to find out real quick because it is the internet, and I think they'll let us know. But
well, look at the grand strategy of things. And, we've talked about branching out the kind of content that we do. And this is definitely a step in that direction. And also look at how familiar our base is with the two of you. They already are comfortable with you guys. They already love you. They already are used to hearing your names and seeing you. So it's not a big leap to do this. It makes sense to progress in this direction. And, we said that coming into 23, we were going to run hard at growing this whole thing and making it something different and special. And this is one of the ways that we can grow. So I think it's going to be fantastic. So you've got some stories to start off with,
yes.
Right?
And I'm giving the people what they want. I found a cake story that is not an AITA story. And we're going to have Dustin read it for us. So
Who's Dustin?
Did I say Dustin?
He said Dustin.
That's hard.
It really is. That's what I was telling her when I did the podcast with Dusty, that I kept saying Dustin and Candace, and it was not. Yeah.
They're like, who's that?
I was like, yeah. So it's probably going to happen. It won't be the first or the last slip up, I'm sure.
You've called me Dustin 4 times already in this podcast.
I was conditioned our whole relationship not to call you Dusty. And now that's your new name.
Hey,
and I'm like,
the lights are on. I'm Dusty.
okay.
There you go.
Dusty.
And you're Candy.
Okay.
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 Candy and Candace are the same person. But Dusty is going to read a cake story because I don't think there's anyone else that can read cake stories.
I'm down.
It's a cake story.
I'm down. All right, let's pull it up and dive into it.
Oh,
you have it. You have it pasted already. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This isn't our first rodeo, Dusty.
Okay. I've got my little wobbly kids table here. So
yeah, he is at the kids table for this one. So
it's a petty revenge story, right?
I ruined my
stepmom's 50th birthday party over cake. Oh no. All right, we're diving in. You ready? Ready?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Check.
My stepmom was a nasty woman to grow up with. Mean, vindictive, and had an inferiority complex that she used to attack anyone who was doing well, especially those doing better than her. My dad spent my childhood over the road, and mom was in and out of inpatient facilities until she passed. So a lot of my time was spent with her being my only available caregiver guardian. I won't bullshit and say I was perfect, but I wasn't bad. Good student, involved in community and school activities, and as soon as I could work, I got a job. My biggest issue was that I often took an attitude with her and her family, all of whom sucked to be near. Those people have been in my life since I was 4. I am now in my late 20s, and not one of them were ever supportive or kind. I had aspirations to go to school and be a psychologist, a teacher, a therapist, a veterinarian. Honestly, I think I just liked the structure school offered and wanted to continue with it after graduation. But as soon as I was handed my diploma, my stepmom handed me a notice to vacate the property. Less than a month later, I was gone. To be fair with him, my father did try to intervene and prevent the eviction since it was his home, but she was the main occupant in the house, and we were informed by a local cop that she could in fact remove me from the home and press trespassing charges if I ever came back. To this day, I think he was likely full of shit but didn't want to deal with it. So I was 18, homeless, and supposed to start college a few months later, and I had chosen a local school and rejected better scholarships so I could stay home and save money on housing. I found a place with a man that became my best friend, and I did try to attend school, but honestly, it just didn't feel right anymore. Between full-time work just to scrape by and the mental health issues that arose in the aftermath, I couldn't continue and dropped out. My dad was unable to offer much support, and most of my family never cared to intervene since she had convinced the majority of them that I had chosen basically to go no contact with them. She would call and gloat about how hard the real world is, make snide comments about my dying mother, and in the same breath offer sympathy and support if I came back home. But she evicted him.
Like literally evicted.
I'm confused. At holiday dinners, she would tell everyone I was the first psychologist she'd ever seen working the till at McDonald's, and if I defended myself, I would be chastised for not taking a joke. It was humiliating, and after a few years, I realized I could block her, and she couldn't do shit about it. So I did. My life did turn around. I work as a pastry chef in a bakery I adore, and would love to buy someday if the owner would let me when he retires. It's not a life I ever imagined for myself, but it's a good one that I share with my fiance, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. In the past 2 years, I resumed contact with my dad, and as a result, his wife again. He's still a doormat, and she's still a see you next Tuesday. But she's not picking on a little girl anymore, and I bite back now. I've also managed to contact my mom's family, who had been estranged from her for decades before she died, and met people who could have truly loved me if they had known I existed. Dad's family are kept at an arm's length, but I finally have a family that I can talk about when my friends are discussing holiday plans, and that's all I ever wanted. Doing what I do for a living, I always show off a bit at family gatherings, and I've often made custom cakes for relatives when asked. Boundaries have been established, and after the first cousin who tried pushing them found herself without a cake on her son's birthday, they are respected. Stepmom hates my job. She hates that I'm happy, that I don't care if I'm a bit plump, that I'm engaged and she's not allowed near the wedding. She hates that I'm good at what I do, and try as she might, the only thing she can ever insult is the fondant. Which, fair, I don't care for it either. At my dad's birthday party last month, I baked a lovely 3-tier red velvet cake for him and provided numerous pastries as well as a cookie buffet. My boss is a godsend for letting me use his industrial kitchen to make it all. Day of, all Stepmom could say was my cake tasted like a box mix, and that was it. 2 decades of abuse, and I was finally done trying. I spent days making everything I provided, all free of charge, and she compared my labor and knowledge to effing Betty Crocker. No shame to anyone who bakes or likes Betty or any other box mix, but it's like comparing fast food to your own home cooking and the fast food being preferred. A total slap in the face to the hours of labor and effort, and years spent honing and perfecting recipes. She asked me at the beginning of February to bake her cake for her 50th. No other details other than she didn't want red velvet, and it was for 100 people. I agreed. I stocked up on Duncan Hines and canned frosting, slapped the frosting on top of shitty sheet cakes a day before, and didn't bother decorating any of them. Stepmom was livid. I ruined her birthday, embarrassed her in front of her friends and family. How could I be so callous, etc.? I just told her she compared my cake at Dad's party to Betty Crocker, so she must prefer low-effort cakes. I left shortly after. She started crying. Apparently, she had planned on Instagramming the party and had planned on my normal quality of care for my desserts. Dad didn't care. He just said it was best if I'm not around her for a bit and we meet up somewhere other than his house. I don't want to be near her again, and I hope her family choked on that dry-ass cake. Edit, thanks for the awards and amazing support. I'm overwhelmed by the supportive and kind comments you've left. You're all so sweet, and I wish I could hug everyone, especially the people who shared a similar story. My fiance read the post after a while, and we talked about handling Dad and Bitchy Crocker. Bitchy Crocker? That's what they named it? Going forward.
That's great.
And I think I'm going to ask Dad about family therapy for the two of us to properly hash things out. Permanent no contact with his wife is in order. Hope you all have a wonderful days, and your cakes are moist and delicious.
Wow.
All right, what do you think?
I think her stepmom is a
bitchy Crocker?
A bitchy
Crocker. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think her revenge was completely warranted.
I mean, you don't get to treat somebody that terribly all the time,
right,
and then ask them for something and then be upset when they don't.
But what really pisses me off is her dad not stepping up,
right,
and not putting an end to that shit. Like that's just not okay. Teenagers are assholes. There's no question about that. They are just trying to figure life out and are rough around the edges. But
I feel like
you don't get to evict them.
Yeah, and like literally evicted. Like it wasn't just like a get out of my house. It was like you actually have to leave. And then Dad is kind of not a great person either, because he should be proud of the way she turned her life around, right, and made something of herself and has a fiance and has a career that she likes and is really good at something. And then instead you still just kind of like, no, you're still part of the problem.
I'm glad that she didn't give up, that she turned her life around, that she found something that she's good at. Even though having no one in her life that helped her at all. Like, she did this all by herself. And that's something that she should celebrate. And
good for OP on this, for even saying that she would make, like, even going around her and like even being in the same room as her.
Right. I don't think I could go back.
I would never even eat. And granted, she did it because she was going to take out revenge on her, but still, I wouldn't be able to go back to a house from someone that told me that they didn't want me there. Yeah. And even what she did for even what she did for dad when she made a big giant ass cake and all these cookies and all these treats and did it after he still didn't have your back, no matter, like, still didn't have your back. And you still said you were the bigger person and went and did that. And that's a shitty situation, but I think she won this deal for sure.
So you talked a little bit about dad not stepping up, and that's something that I think we see a lot of in a lot of stories is that one parent, and it's dad more often than it's not, is what they perceive to be stuck with inaction because he's married to Bitchy Crocker and has to deal with her on the daily. So it's a proximity effect where he's choosing his own safety and just not to deal with the problems rather than stand up to her, which is obviously not the right choice. But I think that explains a lot more of his inaction, of his doing nothing. And the whole being able to evict his child when he owned the house is bullshit. It is bullshit.
Yeah. He was just giving the stepmom what she wanted.
Right.
Yep.
And the daughter has to know that. But I still feel like she needs, that validation from a parent. And that's normal for a child, but she needed that. And I kind of feel like that's maybe why she went above and beyond for his birthday and did all of that. It just sucks that her dad couldn't step up and be her parent her entire life. He just let the stepmom handle it and let that mom treat her like shit.
Would you have gone no contact with dad in this case too?
Oh yeah, for
sure. I mean, you did not have my back. You weren't a parent to me.
All she's finding there is pain repeatedly. And this is one of those instances where we see people go no contact and focus on the family or the tribe they've built, right?
Right.
The people that do love and support them and that they don't feel pain every time they engage with them. And he's the hot stove for her, but she can't stop touching it.
Right. And
even the therapy part, it's like, you're going to find more pain there. Like, why would you? She must just want it or need it real bad.
That's what I was going to say. You can say, we have a lot of people that tell OPs to go no contact with family, but I think at the end of the day, that might be a lot harder than we realize.
Yeah.
To just give up your parents and just say, yeah, no, I'm not going to see you anymore. You have to get to that point. And I don't think OP is to that point yet.
Yeah. And did she say it was her mom's side of the family that she ended up finding people who actually care,
Yeah. She said they didn't know she existed.
I mean, dad dropped the ball at every opportunity in this, because OP has tried so many times to make it work, and dad had the opportunity to step up and be a dad and be that person in her life and still just, cowered behind Bitchy Crocker the entire time.
That's true. He did cower behind her, and she called him a doormat, so she recognizes that.
Wait, Bitchy Crocker called him a doormat?
No, the daughter.
Oh.
The OP called her dad a doormat.
Well, I'm sure Bitchy Crocker probably does too. She probably knows that she runs. She probably knows that she runs things.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's such a...
But good for you, OP. Way to go.
Congratulations on your Bitchy Crocker cake.
That is wonderful revenge.
Yes, it is wonderful petty revenge.
Is this the only time that cake can be weaponized?
I was going to say, this is weaponizing cake.
It is weaponizing cake, but it's weaponizing cake in self-defense.
True.
This is like a castle doctrine cake, basically. It is a warranted reciprocation of force, and it is not even. She could have gone much further. With it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she could have hidden razor blades in this cake and still been okay.
Full of laxatives in that deal, and we could have had it could have been a really shitty birthday party.
Yeah,
it could have I see
what you did there.
Yeah. She could have gone away worse than that. I mean, the fact that she even made you a cake and it was edible, that's right. I mean, I wouldn't be bitching if I was her. Oh, you didn't get to Instagram it and post it. Yeah. Sorry, get over it.
With the laxatives, she would have turned her into Bitchy Crapper, and that would have been great. That would have been great.
Bitchy Crapper.
Bitchy Crapper.
Yeah, that story was also, like you said, really, really well written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the next story is more petty revenge, right?
Yes.
And we got 3 petty revenge stories here.
There's a theme here.
Oh, yeah.
The people like the petty.
You like the petty revenge? Was that the sound of a cell door?
I knew
closing?
it. I knew that he was going to find a way to work in this school.
Madagascar.
He is obsessed with Madagascar 3 right now.
He's forcing it on Navy Thunder so hard.
Not
and
forcing.
I can't get on board with it. I don't know. I think it's because I haven't been able to sit down and like watch all of the movies.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
funny.
you have to.
And I love all of the actors that are in it, but I just haven't been able to like watch them from start to finish, so I don't know what's going on. And
Okay, well, I would say if you're going to watch, like Madagascar 3 is the best, I think, out of all of them.
Agreed.
It is the funniest out of it. And the scene he's
Are you guys
referencing
gonna-
is very funny, but it's just stuck in my head now because he's done it all week long.
It's stuck in his head to the point where he played like the YouTube clip.
I played the
just
clip
that
of it
scene.
yesterday.
I
And
didn't know
was
if you guys were going to break out into song.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
And podcast ban for trademark infringement.
There we go. Okay.
Is that the sound of my HP printer?
We actually have an HP printer, so I'm pretty sure that line is going to be used.
Was
It
that
has
the
been
sound?
used. It has
It's
already
going to be
been used this
overused
week.
by the end of 2023.
We used it in the live yesterday. I know. Yeah. All right, we're going to jump into the next story here. The second story on the Thunder and Spark podcast, and this one is titled "Ice Cream Truck Got on My Last Nerve." I moved in with my mom for a year. Summer came, and an ice cream truck started coming through my neighborhood twice a day. The driver decided that the best place to stop was right in front of my mom's house. The song his truck played was Music Box Dancer, and he kept it playing for the whole time he was there, which ranged from 20 to 30 minutes. It was maddening. I asked him if he could shut it off after 10 minutes, since by then all the kids knew he was there. He told me to go F myself.
What a nice
know.
ice cream man
I know.
serving
He's
ice cream
like,
to children.
Go F
Like,
yourself.
Here's a bomb pop. Go F yourself with it.
Whoa.
I worked the second shift, so I was home during the day. My boss had a buddy who drove the delivery truck for a company that sold exactly the kind of stuff you would buy from an ice cream truck. He was more than happy to sell me whatever I wanted at wholesale cost and gave some of it to me for free. My mom had a chest freezer conveniently located in the mudroom on the side of her house. I talked to some of the neighbors about what the guy had said and how I planned to get my petty revenge. When they heard that he had dropped the F-bomb in front of little kids, they were all on my side. Oh, it was in front of
Yeah,
kids.
I would be livid.
Oh, I thought it was just when the guy was just like
Yeah,
walked up
like
to
it
him and
was
said,
just
"Hey
him.
man, stop playing the music." Not when, Timmy's up there trying to get an ice cream cone.
Yeah, I would be angry.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
The only thing that could make it any worse is if he got on the megaphone that the music was coming from, and he's like, "Go F yourself." They already didn't like him because he was gruff, unfriendly, just generally ill-suited for a job that involved talking to people, especially children. Word got around, and whenever the truck showed up, the kids would all go right past him and lined up at the side of my mom's house. My mother was 100% on board. She was next level petty and was delighted to help out. I'd take orders and she would pull the stuff from the freezer. One of the neighbors had warned me that she had been threatened with fines for selling homemade ice pops without the appropriate permit the previous summer. So I just gave that shit away for free. Some of the parents would give their kids money to tip me though. I still lost money, but no more than $3 or $4 a day. The second day I was doing it, the driver confronted me and asked what the F I thought I was doing. I said, "I tried talking to you like a grown-up and you acted like a child. This is what you get. Now get off my property." He made some threats of physical violence and my mom called the cops. He was gone by the time they showed up, but they took statements from me, my mom, the dad from next door, and a couple of the kids who were waiting for their ice cream when he made the threat. He didn't own the truck, and a bunch of parents called the outfit he worked for to complain about him swearing and threatening violence in front of their kids. We didn't see the truck for about a week and a half, and when it started coming around again, there was a different person running it. The jerkwad was charged with making terrorist threats. The dad from next door and I got subpoenas and testified against him. He was able to plead it down to harassment, but he had priors, so he still got a fine and 6 months probation. Wow. The new driver was an older guy. He loved kids, and the kids loved him. I shut down my operation and gave the rest of my stock away when the neighborhood had a block party the weekend before school started. Oh, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
This is fantastic.
I know. I love the the lightheartedness of the petty revenge stories sometimes. They're fun to read.
Like, okay, that guy, what, the ice cream truck driver, can you just see the headline? Ice cream truck driver charged with terrorism.
Making terrorist threat. So I was like, did he make the terrorist threat then, or was that something else, like in addition to what he pulled at this guy's house?
It was the second time whenever OP here was actually like giving away the stuff and diverting the kids away from him when he came over and made threats of physical violence.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. He got a fine and 6 months probation.
Yeah, that's
hardcore petty revenge.
good for OP. I understand that there's some jobs out there that you may not want in your life, but like if you're that kind of a person, do you really think driving an ice cream truck is for you when you have to deal with children and parents and all of that? When your first response is to like, go f yourself. Like, what are you doing?
I feel like there should be some kind of requirement to drive around neighborhoods, like actively pulling kids to your vehicle to buy ice cream.
Like, why do I picture the driver of this ice cream truck like the two robbers from Home Alone? Like, why do I picture that's what they look like? He looks like
Harry and Marv.
Yeah. Like, why do I picture that's what he looks like?
He's part of the frozen bandits instead of the wet bandits. Yeah. So two things. I think, if he continues down this path, he's going to be selling prison pops here soon. But also, a scary thought here is there are a limited number of jobs that actually hire felons, and ice cream truck drivers might be one of those common jobs.
Why would ice cream truck drivers hire felons?
I don't know, but
I feel like that is the one job you should not have.
I agree, that's the one job you should not have, but I feel like it might be one of the jobs that allows it.
Also, are you basing this off of
personal experience?
Yes.
Maybe.
Also, can we just talk about the whole premise behind ice cream trucks? What do your parents teach you? Like, don't take candy from strangers. And a guy driving around in a van is selling ice cream up and down the neighborhood when the kids are outside. He sees kids outside and he's like, hey, kids, you want some ice cream? Yeah. Like, okay.
Okay. I agree. However, I do think applying the ice cream truck logic to a truck that is mobile and sells like beer and edibles would be a fantastic idea. And here's the pitch.
That's an adult truck.
Here's the pitch. It prevents people from going to get more after they've already consumed, right? So this actually reduces drunk driving. It reduces the need for the impulse for people to get in the vehicle because it's coming to them. And yeah, it could be delivery. It could be like order on the app and it delivers straight to you, but it's a freaking ice cream truck. It pulls up with the song and everything.
That's what I was going to say. When it pulled up with like what song would be playing from this ice cream truck.
We may need some comment help with that one.
Obviously got to be something from Snoop Dogg or something.
Yeah.
Little Willie Nelson playing in the background.
I don't know why, but I heard
because I got high.
Some kind of version, like changing that Yin Yang Twins song to like something to do with the truck. Like instead of from the window to the wall, it's like from the truck.
But here's the thing. After that truck goes through, about an hour later, the ice cream truck needs to go through because you've got the munchies and you're ready to buy some ice cream.
So I think the truck that delivers the beer and the edibles also needs snacks. It's got to be an all-in-one.
Oh yeah, they would totally sell.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant business idea that I don't have any plans to actually deploy. So somebody out there who has the ability to do it.
Also, I can just see, I mean, props to Mom in this story too for helping out and just doing it. Like I could just see her just sitting there like, oh, okay, let me get you another one here. What do we need? Like,
I love how he called his mom was next level petty.
Yeah,
she's all about it.
Yeah. She freaking loves it.
Also, I feel like they should change up the menu on ice cream trucks because it's been the same.
Okay. Are they still really a thing? I've never lived in like a neighborhood. Like I've always lived out of town.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I've lived. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't know if they were still a thing or not.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't lie. I saw you at that ice cream truck when you used to live over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Spark, funny backstory, used to live like 2 doors down from us whenever we first moved into this neighborhood. And then he moved to a different town, a nearby town. And this was all way before he started working here. So then started working here and it was just like lives. It's kind of like how it worked with you and I, where it's like our lives connected at some point, but then they went separate ways. And 10 years later, we reconnected. And that's when we started dating. It's like, we were nearby, but didn't have anything to do with each other.
Interactions a couple of different times, and Candy claims falsely, that whenever she would be driving around the neighborhood, and if I'd be out walking around, she would be like, "I would wave at you, and you would never wave at me." And I was like, "That is not accurate." No, because listen,
I said you didn't wave at me, and you're like, did you wave at me? And I was like, well, no.
Okay. So see, like, and then if I would, here's the interaction that would have happened. I would have waved at you and you'd have been like, I don't know what to do. Should I wave at this person? I don't know this person. You just keep your head down. Oh no, he looked at me. Like that's how that would have gone. That's what would have happened.
My introvert brain was like, don't make eye contact. You might have to have a conversation.
Which I'm pretty sure is not true. I'm pretty sure I waved.
I think you waved at me one time.
Yeah, we would see Tony Spark walking around the neighborhood with his earbuds in a lot. So he was out walking for exercise. But I'm pretty sure the kind of wave that we saw when you were doing that was
probably
this.
just like
yeah.
Yep.
Well,
what kind of wave am I supposed to do? Be like, hi.
It's elbow, wrist.
Like, what
wrist,
is this? Like, we're just hi. How are you? Like, no, you're just like, oh, hi. How you doing? Like, what are we expecting here?
What about whenever you're driving and you think you see somebody you know and you like wave aggressively because you're like, I love this person, and then they get close and you're like, that's not that person.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who. There's this guy that they have the exact same car. And so I aggressively wave at this car. And half the time it's this other guy who looks nothing. This guy just like stares at me.
He's like, this guy's stalking me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. No, that's always awkward.
Pretty sure. Awesome. You know, it's funny that at least Candy Thunder and I are way more socially awkward than you would ever imagine. Tony Spark, on the other hand, is a social effing butterfly. Like,
he makes friends wherever he goes.
Especially, he's like a hummingbird. Like you drop a little bit of liquor on his beak and he just like floats.
See, there he goes. There he goes. Just like Tony Spark's the damn drunk over here.
He's not a drunk.
He's not a drunk. But you get to partake in the party side of life much more than we do. So we party vicariously through you.
Yeah. But I think it's funny that Dustin also claims that he's not like I would say he is an introvert a little bit, but he also is very good when he can turn it on and go. Like whether it's in front of the camera, whether it's at an event, like he can not want to talk to people, but then he goes to that and it's like flips a switch.
But I have to flip the switch. That's the difference.
I don't have a switch.
She doesn't have a switch.
I'm just awkward. I'm so awkward. I stutter and like,
she's the type that she'll have an interaction with somebody and say something and then she'll sit there and go, "Why did I say that? What did I say that for? Did that come out of my mouth?
There's like this one thing that happened and I still like have nightmares about the fact that I said this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back in time.
Do you want to tell him?
No. No, I do not want to say what I said.
Meanwhile, I don't think I've ever met a stranger, so.
No, you haven't. Which is great for your gig here at Storm Cloud Marketing and also, for what you do in this. One quick note on the ice cream truck before we move on to the next story that we have here. If one of you out there decides to take that venture under your wing and actually make it happen, reach out to me and I will record audio for it that you can play through the speakers. Yeah, we'll come up with something good, and I will gift that to you because I want this to happen.
I think the branding for a truck like that would be really cool.
It would be amazing.
It would.
Yeah, just give us a call. We'll see what we can do because that sounds like a fantastic.
And we're speaking only to the states where
only to the states where it's legal.
Where it's legal, yes.
Yes.
We don't recommend that you start this in a state that is not legal.
Correct.
Do you want to do this? Are you going to take on a third business?
No. We don't have time for it.
Somebody asked me today if I wanted a puppy for free, which is like asking me if I want a Belvita bar or a Cosmic Brownie.
Well, Jesse's not here either, so Jesse, you ought to ask Jessie if she wants it.
I know. I want it so
Candy
bad.
Thunder sends me a different puppy that she finds on Facebook every damn day. And every damn day, I'm like, no. But now I've just started saying things like, cute pup. And not responding.
She's not saying
either way.
But you're also not saying no.
Cute pup looks like it's wearing a tuxedo t-shirt. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
So you're just placating me,
yeah,
basically.
Pretty much.
So someone got a doodle, which we have a golden doodle, and it's too much work for them, and so they're going to give it away for free. It's 15 weeks, and it breaks my heart because, doodles are hard work. So if you're thinking about it, just know that they have a very ornery phase that they go through,
and it
4 to
never
10
ends,
months.
except they get bigger.
They're very needy dogs.
They're very needy dogs, but Luna also is a toddler brain in a horse body,
and so she has no concept of space or her. She's, but it just breaks my heart that people don't understand that about doodles and not they're so cute and they look like teddy bears, but they're also a lot of work.
Yeah. They are.
Don't just get a dog because it's cute.
You know what? Every time you start sending me dog pics now, I'm just going to be like, let's do it.
Okay.
For everyone, I'm going to say, let's do it. And then let you think about it and be like, no, we can't.
I wouldn't. I couldn't do it. Well. Luna would just, when we brought Navy home, Luna was like, what are we doing here? And now she's like, but if Navy's getting attention, I need attention.
Luna's like, have I been demoted?
Yeah. Are you getting, if we brought another dog?
They are very needy dogs, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good gravy.
You're around Doodles and you're around Luna. You know how much attention she requires.
The Doodle at our house all of a sudden this week has decided she loves me this week. She's slept.
Oh, you're her person.
Yeah. Like she's been in bed every night. She just loves it. And then she wakes me up in the morning and says, let me out. Like she's like, I'm going back. I'm going back.
I love to cuddle with Luna. Yeah. Love it. Because she loves to, they love to be pet, and rubbed. And,
when you start scratching, she doesn't let you stop. She looks at you and is
nudge.
Nope. She nudges your arm. It's like, you can't stop, dude.
Luna.
If you have some kind of doodle, I've seen this in almost all of them, but they do the nudge, where if you stop petting, they automatically nudge your hand and they're like, keep going. No, don't stop.
I don't know if it's necessarily a doodle thing. I think it's just a lot of dogs.
Just a needy
there's a lot of dogs that do the nudge or the paw. Paw.
She never uses the paw. Well, stop. Sometimes.
Hey, I'm still here. You're not done yet. You're not done yet.
Have you seen? I'm sure she's done it to you, where your hand is on your mouse on your desk, and she comes
she
up
lifts
and lifts it up.
She's like, that hand goes here.
Yeah. Just put it on here.
Luna, whenever I work night shifts and I'm up later, I will come to bed, and sometimes she is in my spot in the bed.
Invited.
She's like an entire human size, and here's the part that pisses me off.
She's fluffy.
Here's the part that pisses me off. She'll get down. She's really good about, I'll say Junie Bear, time to hop down, and she'll hop down begrudgingly, but she does it. But then I crawl into bed and it's warm. I want my cool sheets and my cool pillow, and now my side of the bed is effing warm. And I'm like, no, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah, she uses pillows like a person.
She does. She uses my pillow. And sometimes it'll either be her head on the pillow or she puts her butthole smack on my pillow. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. But Gracie, Candy Thunder's older dog that she had whenever we first got together, she
R.I.P. Gracie.
Yes. She would take my spot in the bed, and then whenever I tried to come get into bed, she would fight me for the spot.
Yes.
She's like, this is my spot.
She would fight me, and for the longest time, every damn night, I had to fight to get into bed. And she was like the tiniest little silky, but
yeah, she was 6 pounds.
She would stand up to me every damn time. She'd be like, I don't care who you are. She's like,
it was ugly.
I belong there. You're tiny. Find a different spot.
So she started, I don't even remember when it happened, but losing her eyesight. And I thought that was the reason. And he's like, that's not the reason. It's just me.
It's just, that, and she's possessive of her bed space, and dogs are possessive of weird things.
She was very
Oliver with his
possessive
toys, it's just.
She was the alpha of the group.
Yeah.
Until she got sick.
She was Bitchy Crocker.
She totally was Bitchy Crocker. But she wasn't mean. She never abandoned anyone.
No, she wasn't mean. She just got really confused.
Yes, at the end, yeah.
At the end, she got really confused, and
she lost her alpha status at the end.
She did. She hated me till the day she died.
He said that last.
She did.
She's like, you'll never be my dad.
She did. She held on to it until the day she finally let go. It's like with her last breath, she was like, F you. Okay, we'll dive into the next story here. I'm sorry to bring Gracie
Dog
up.
Tangent.
Yeah, big dog tangent. Okay, this is another petty revenge, and this one is when the petty backfires, so you are the one with the revenge. Years ago, I worked for a large manufacturing company in my hometown. If you have food, cleaning products, or paper products in your home, it was probably made by this company. I was also pregnant. Most of the people I worked with were awesome. There were a couple of ladies who really took me in because this was my first child, and I was 20 and hopelessly overwhelmed. But on the other hand, there were these 6 ladies who had it out for me. Not sure why. Don't know if it was jealousy or the fact that their uteruses had dried up years ago and spewed dust. Regardless of the reason, these queen bees hated that I got a cushy job just because I was pregnant. I didn't have a cushy job because I was pregnant. I got it because I excelled at the job, so the higher-ups gave me some extra responsibilities doing reports, which took me off the line and into a chair a few hours a day. A little background, there are 3 buildings on top of a hill. Each building is side by side, but their parking lots descend down the hill. Each building had its own designated parking areas. The parking lot for A building was right on ground level and mostly execs worked there. Lot B was a little lower down the hill, and this is where a lot of the chemists and labs doing research were housed. I had worked in the B building several times before on other projects. Building C was where most of the manufacturing happened and so needed more space than the other buildings. That is also why it was all the way down at the bottom of the hill and you had to walk up almost 200 stair steps to get to the building. I counted them once and I think it was 196 or 198 steps. The parking lot was affectionately called the Pit because it was so steep. When I was about 7 months pregnant, I found the pit was becoming exceedingly difficult to manage with carrying the extra baby weight, so I asked my supervisor if I could start parking in Building B's lot. He had no problem with it, so I started parking there. Another month later, the sweet ladies I worked with threw me a baby shower on our lunch break. They hooked me up with everything that I could possibly need since I was working full-time and going to school. I couldn't afford a lot of the things. I mean, they bought me big-ticket items like a crib, playpen, changing table, etc. I was in awe. Yes, I had a crib at 8 months, but it was used and old and probably under recall. They didn't trust it, so they bought me a new one. The supervisor bought me a bunch of diapers from the company store, where he got a huge discount. See, told you they make everything. At the end of the day, everyone helped carry the items down to my station wagon. This is when the 6 queen bees saw that I was parking in lot B instead of down in the pit like everyone else. They started yelling at me about how I thought I was better than everyone else parking wherever I chose. That I better watch out because they were going to see to it that I got in trouble for breaking the rules, maybe even fired if they had their way. The other ladies told them to back off and shut up. God, I loved those ladies. They really did take care of me and taught me so much. I found out the next day that the queen bees did indeed take their case to the security office. Security called me in. I explained the supervisor told me I could park in lot B. Security explained that he, supervisor, did not have the authority to do so, that there were channels for exceptions and he didn't follow them, that I would have to start parking down in the pit like everyone else. I was in tears when I returned to the floor. Queen bees were gloating. The other ladies asked what was wrong. I told them. They were much smarter than my 20-year-old self. They told my supervisor what happened. He marched right down to the security office. Evidently, he simply had to apply for a medical exemption on my behalf. By the end of the day, not only did I have a special placard for my car, but turns out I got to park up in Building A's parking lot at the top of the hill right next to our building because for medical exemptions, this is the one with handicapped accessible ramps. The next day, I made sure the queen bees saw me in my new parking space. By that, I mean I waited for them to arrive, and when I saw each of them walking up into the building, I laid on the horn and waved at each and every one of them with a huge grin. Those harpies.
Wow. Good job.
Very nice. Very
That was
nice.
amazing.
You know, the best part of this is the petty revenge wasn't even executed by OP. It was executed by those few ladies that really looked out for her.
I love that those ladies took her under their wing and looked out for them. That's amazing. But
seriously. That's terrible. Because you know what's going to happen? As soon as they have to have a knee replacement or hip replacement or whatever they want, they're going to be bitching and moaning and they're going to be like, I need to park right up there.
Yep.
That's...
I imagine this parking lot, like the pit being like where we went to school for college.
Yeah.
Like walking up to the
Parking,
business building.
Parking
when you had
is
to walk down
always
there.
way further down.
And I was pregnant with Ava. I had to walk up those steps every day, and it was a form of torture. So I sympathize with this woman for having to do that. And
So you waddled up one step at a time then.
Well, and you can't breathe at the end of your pregnancy. Like it just gets really, it gets like you.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't know.
I tried to whenever you first
So,
started.
let me give this. Wait
a second.
Before that gets out of hand, when I first started here, Candy was
Very
8
pregnant.
months. It was April, so 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about to pop.
Very pregnant. And so when we're going through the training stuff every day, like I would work with somebody different in the agency every day, learning what I was going to do to help them. And it came time to work with Candy, and she wheeled over to my desk and she would start she'd like be reading through this thing and like going over it. And then she'd be like, and then you're going to put the orders in here. And then this is how you're going to put it. She goes, I'm sorry, I'm very pregnant and I'm out of breath. She's like, I'm out of breath all the time.
It happened like 20 times while I was trying to talk to you for like 30 minutes.
I'm out of breath.
Why are you talking anymore?
Just start whispering.
Yeah. I can't have lengthy conversations anymore.
I'm sure it doesn't help that there's a baby pressed against your lungs too,
I don't
right?
know if it's the room, like with the, making your lungs not expand as much, or if it's something like with your hormones. I'm not sure, but
Both.
Yeah,
probably.
it was torture.
Yeah, and so imagine that, and 8 months
I
in,
can't
and
imagine.
having to hike up 200 stairs every day.
You've got the queen bees, and they're just being an asshole to you just to be an asshole, because if they can't have it, nobody can have it.
Can you just see her struggling to go up those stairs, and each one of those queen bees just like passing her, just like on your left, and just like waving at her and be like, oh, what's the problem? Too many stairs for you? Like,
we're heading back down. How many times have the queen bees been like, just push her? Like, it just said something stupid, just to take out some kind of petty revenge there. But here's the really shitty part for me is that if all of the characters in this story were dudes, this never would have happened, because they don't do this kind of shitty stuff. They don't care.
Be like, oh, she parked over there. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, that's how that goes.
But
or they might have grumbled about it, but I don't think they would have ever gone to the level of actually like bitching to supervisors about it and being openly shitty about it.
Oh, you know what these ladies remind me of? It's like 6 of those ladies from the TikTok story that we did on the last podcast with you and I, where she was like guilting her sister to stop trying, or her sister-in-law to stop trying everything she learned on TikTok.
Yeah.
This is that lady. This is 6 of those ladies.
Dang.
Yeah. So I'm sure they put OP through hell.
Yeah, they have
and
a
just
club.
treated her like shit because, well, I'm sure that they had probably worked there for a long time and thought they had the
young girl gets all the.
I'm not very good with sayings. So I was like, the run of the ranch. That's what I was going to say. That's a saying.
Candy Thunder's run of the ranch. Even before COVID, like, scrambled words up, Candy Thunder would always attempt these very American sayings, but half butcher them to the point where we just said that English was her second language, because it's like my old Russian buddy, like trying to reciprocate American sayings that he has heard.
But now she's conscious of it, because even when she'll say one of those things, and even when she gets it right, she'll be like, "That's a saying, right? Like that's
a
right.
real thing.
That's a real thing, right? That's how you say that."
Is run of the ranch a real thing?
I think it's run of the mill.
There it is.
Yeah, but that means something different.
Run of the mill is like normal. What were you trying to say?
I don't know.
King of the ranch? King of the hill?
It was run of the something.
Maybe run of the ranch is a thing.
No.
I just made it a thing.
Run of the ranch is a thing, but we'll go with it.
We'll go with it.
They thought they were running the place. That's what I was trying to say.
Running the show?
Running the show. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I was trying to
running the ranch.
Where did ranch come from?
I don't know.
You got to run in the ranch dressing.
Speaking of ranch dressing, Tony found that they make ranch flavored ice cream.
Oof, I did.
Hidden Valley ranch flavored ice cream.
Ranch flavored ice cream. So I don't know. Listen, I bought it, but it was one of those things, and the people who created this, they got what they wanted because somebody bought it. I still bought it. I'm never going to eat it.
No, I think that on the next Thunder and Spark podcast that you and Dustin should probably eat the ice cream. I'm exempt because I have a weird taste and smell. I can't really give an accurate representation.
But it could be the reaction that you could have to it would be it'd be the worst thing you've ever tasted. Or what would be funnier is if you love it. If it has it just because things that don't normally taste good to her. And so if you had ranch, you're like, I love this. The next thing you know,
I'm putting it on everything instead
you can stock up on ranch ice cream. She's like, what are you having? I'm having some cake and some ranch ice cream. You're like, what?
It's a carrot cake. It's fine.
Potato cake.
Yeah.
Oh my God, maybe carrot cake. Maybe that's what it's supposed to go with.
We could use that ranch ice cream as one of the gift achievement celebration things on the next live.
Oh, I like it.
I hate to do that to myself, but it could be a thing.
No, I think.
Or if you guys help us get to this goal, Tony Spark will come over and eat this ranch flavored ice cream on air.
No, I don't think that's how that's going to work.
You fixed it.
Okay, so we've now reached the end of the Reddit story portion of the first Thunder and Spark podcast. The rest of the things that they have to talk about are not Reddit story related. There are some newsworthy stories and potentially some T Swift talk going on.
I think it's more than potentially.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a key factor in this podcast.
We'll note the time, so if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, you can.
Yeah,
there will be chapter markers throughout the video portion of this and the audio portion of this. So, like we do for all the other podcasts that we end up pushing that way, you'll have those chapter markers so you can skip around. But this will be the end of the normal story portion of this, and for the rest of it, it will probably be Candy Thunder and Tony Spark without me sitting here. So I'll just be the behind the scenes guy helping out. And if they need to pull me in, they'll pull me in. But the rest of their show here is going to be very much their show. So good luck, guys. Thanks you guys for hanging out with us for part 1 here. She asked me at the beginning of February. What
was that?
He's leaving.
Being here for
being y'all's fluffer is a voluntary position. Remember. Dad didn't care. He just said it was best if I'm not around her for a bet. A bet? I'm not around her for a bet.
Hey, hold on one second, guys. I have something in my eye and I can't see. So I have to go get it out.
Do it.
It's on this side.
I see it.
Okay, I just keep blinking and like looking up at the camera.
She's that entire story. She's like
crying. She's crying.
No, next thing you know, we get a message because she's been Morse coding, blinking the entire time.
Everybody's like, blink if you need help. And she just keeps blinking. Blink.
What's wrong with Candy? She's clearly needing help.
Blink if you need help. You know what? Trying to read a story on camera with the two of you heckling me every time I up.
I know, but that's what makes it great, though.
Love it. Love every bit of it.
Hey, you encouraged this, so this is your fault.
I didn't know I was going to be here.
Did you guys say I was blinking and
Yeah.
but
You're like, people are going to be like, blink if you need help, Candy.
And you keep blinking the whole first.
He also said that it's difficult to read a story with us heckling over here.
Yeah, the two of you. I'm used to one person heckling me, but the two of you hanging up on me while I'm screwing up a story is great fun.
So when you said February,
whatever, I don't even think he said that. It was just a
whenever he said that is when I got something in my eye. So I feel like it was like instant karma for laughing at you.
And welcome back for part 2 of the Thunder and Spark podcast. This will actually be released with parts 1 and 2 together because part 2 is actually made up not of Reddit stories, but of Candy's crazy headlines. Candy's crazy headlines. There's the new theme song for it.
Wow.
I feel like Perry the Platypus needs to come out.
Can you do
your
the
own theme
noise?
song
Can you
already.
do the Perry the Platypus noise?
No.
I thought she was going to do it for a second.
know.
She leaned in and it's like,
Nope.
no.
Okay, so this is these are actual stories that are news stories. That is shit that's going on in the world right now. That is just absolute madness.
So
And
we
I
have,
would-
we have to give a backstory to this. So I am obsessed with crazy news stories. And I love reading them, listening to them, talking about them.
Dusty's
Dustin
reaction right now. He's like,
hates talking about news stories. He doesn't like anything, especially if it has to do with like kids or parenting or anything like that. He does not like those kinds of stories. So
and we're not talking like Fox News, CNN
No.
headlines. Like when she finds headlines, they are like things that she'll send them or
Like-
read them, and it's like, what?
like here's one that
is going
we're
on?
not going to talk about, but Nicolas Cage believing that he has memories from being in utero.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, make another national treasure. That's all I want.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So it's always these random, completely random, out of left field things that she finds, and they have really good reactions. So we thought it would be fun to find some of these stories and react to them and talk about the outlandishness of some of these stories.
I'm so excited.
And you can see by Dusty's face that he is so excited.
I was actually just thinking that Nicolas Cage's bad acting started in utero.
Aww.
Oh. Hey, I really like the National Treasure
I
movies.
mean, the National Treasure movies are pretty
Okay, the movie is fine. You could have a bad actor in a good movie.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
What about Con Air?
Con Air. It's like he's intentionally a bad actor, or that he was cast because he's a bad actor.
What's the new one he's in? He's like Dracula in the new movie that's coming out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's about I think he plays Dracula.
Oh my God.
But the movie is more about his assistant guy. Or something
Dracula's
like that.
assistant?
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I didn't even realize it was Nicolas Cage because of like all the makeup and the stuff they had on him until it was some like.
They're like, hey,
like
we need to cast someone as Dracula. We need an actor that really sucks.
That's like Tim Curry when he played It. Like you couldn't even tell that it was Tim Curry. So maybe it'll be like that for Nick Cage.
There are.
Face Off.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to go.
I love that movie.
Okay.
Love it.
I can't say that he's a bad actor. He's just he's a cheesy actor. And there are so many cheesy moments whenever he's on camera that I'm just like.
Isn't there one where he's like he's made a fire or something?
No, that's the one where he takes.
Yeah.
No. Face Off.
He's not talking about Face Off. He's talking about.
He's the guy in the movie with doesn't he like ride a motorcycle and he's on fire?
Oh,
that's a Marvel hero or a DC hero. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
But that's an actual.
I honestly am like trying to think of Nicolas Cage movies outside of National Treasure and
Gone in 60 Seconds. You got Face Off.
that was
you got
a good
Con
one.
Air.
Con Air was good.
Can't believe I can't think of the flamed. It's like something Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider might be it actually. Yeah. It's just there's just a certain amount of cheese. There's such a thing as too much cheese. Candy's crazy stories.
Yeah.
Yes, are the kind of thing that she just randomly stumbles upon anyway, because this is the kind of stuff that she enjoys. Do we want to actually read this story or just talk about the headline, or how do you want to approach this?
I think we're going to start just by talking about the headlines, and then we can reference the facts and stuff if we need them from the story.
Okay, so this one from May 8th, 2023 is businessman wakes up to find strangers sucking his toes in Nashville hotel room per court records.
And this is from BT.com. Just want to make sure we give them credit.
Not only, I don't think it says it in the headline, but not only is it a stranger doing this, it's the hotel manager.
This is White Lotus.
Like the hotel manager is the one sucking the toes. That's how he got into the room, because he could make a key to go into the room and suck on the dude's toes.
It's not a super long story. Do you want me to read it real quick? I feel like we've got to give people context.
You can, the other two are really long, but
okay,
go ahead.
This one we'll read.
And then we can cut them out if we decide.
Okay. Peter Brennan was spending the night at the Nashville Hilton Hotel when he was subjected to the early morning assault by the establishment's manager, David Patrick Neal, according to court records. As per the Daily Mail, the alleged incident took place at approximately 5 a.m. after Neal, 52, cloned the key to Brennan's room and entered before placing his lips around Brennan's toes.
I like how
Naturally, the guest screamed and called the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, who immediately arrested and charged the culprit with aggravated burglary and assault.
Did he steal things from him too? Or just
I don't know.
Sucked on his toe?
Anything besides his toe essence? I don't know. Brennan is also suing Neal for sexual assault. Speaking to WKRN, the businessman recalled the strange incident, stating that he felt completely violated after he realized what was happening. All my life, you just had this sense of security and that sense of peace, right? It's not like you're camping and you have to kind of keep one eye open, he told the outlet. You have that security that's yours, and when you close your eyes, you feel like you're safe and you're protected, and it was a complete violation. I was just so shocked, he continued. It was, who are you? Why are you in my room? It was almost like a dream, a sort of nightmare. It just didn't make sense. Why is this person touching me? After he came to his senses, Brennan quickly realized it was the hotel manager because he had previously come to his room to fix the TV set. Neal later admitted to cloning a key to enter the room because he smelled smoke, though police reports noted he hadn't reported the smells to anybody at that time. He was talking to me, but not giving me any substantive answers, the traumatized guest added before revealing that he is now seeking professional help. I'm having problems sleeping, going through some PTSD, and talking to a therapist, he explained. While Brennan first reported the incident to the hotel security, he believed that they weren't taking it seriously, so he called the local police to get justice. After some further digging, it was discovered that Neal actually had an extensive criminal history dating back to the 90s, which includes manslaughter and drunk driving. I like how they did those things right next to each other. Like manslaughter and drunk driving.
Well, it's probably the same incident.
Oh, it could have been.
That's true.
Multiple charges of forgery, drinking and driving, a manslaughter conviction as well, which served prison time. Brennan's attorney, Michael Fisher, said, when Hilton hired this person, they had to have known. They had to do a background checks to know. And the fact that they would put somebody like that in a position where they have the ability to clone keys, have the ability to get into a person's room. As per the Mail, Neil is still being held after he didn't post $27,000 bail.
Okay.
How can you not read these stories and not just be like, what? How does this exist?
How is this guy supposed to ever wear flip-flops again?
How is he ever going to stay in a hotel again?
Yeah.
That I don't know. But doesn't it remind you of White Lotus?
Yeah, oh, very much so.
I know that you haven't watched it yet, but the hotel manager like kind of goes into a spiral, and I could see him going into the guy's room. And
so then it's like, okay, do you think this was the first time this has happened?
I don't know. And like, what possessed him to do that? Like, what?
Maybe the guy was wearing flip flops when he checked into the hotel, and the manager's like, "That's a good pair of feet there." Like, I'm
sure there's so many people out there that have like foot fetishes that he could probably go consenting to suck someone's toes or whatever. But why go into somebody's room unless that was like what he wanted, was the creep factor?
I don't understand how he would decide to go in there, decide what he was going to do, and either he knew the guy was going to wake up, or he thought he could pull it off without waking the guy up.
Yeah.
But at the hotel room, like the covers are like really tightly hooked under the edge of the
maybe
bed.
it was like, it is Nashville. So maybe the guy, like the manager saw this guy go into his room and drunk as can be like, oh, he won't know. He's going to pass out.
Could be.
But it was definitely premeditated because he made the key in advance because he said he smelled smoke.
Yeah.
I smelled smoke.
I better get in there and suck his toes.
Because them toes
There was
is
only
on
one way to put the
fire.
fire out. I had to suck his toes. That was the only way I could do it.
There was a fire. It was in my loins.
Oh.
I can't imagine being violated like that. But did he go? So he came into his room.
Sucked his toes.
But no, he came into his room and fixed his TV. So that's when they had
That was
their
earlier in
first encounter.
Maybe the manager thought that this guy was like putting off the vibes.
Maybe he thought he was into him. Yeah, I don't know. But then maybe you just, ask for somebody's number. You don't go clone their key and violate their space.
Excuse sir. I could see that you are not into me, but your toes are. We have a date later tonight.
Ooh,
oh, man.
That poor man.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be able to like stay at a hotel.
Right.
I don't. Yeah.
Here's the kicker. No pun intended.
That's
if you woke up and some unknown was sucking your toes, you would scream. What would the next thing you would do be?
Kick them in the face.
Exactly.
So hard.
Yeah.
There would be some kicking.
And then he said he called the hotel security and they didn't take it seriously.
I would skip that step.
I'm like, why?
It's like, hey, you're
This is the
boss.
manager.
So like, oh, he's in there licking somebody's toes
This is
again.
the manager of the hotel, so I don't know if you want to call hotel security. Like, I would skip that step and I would go straight to the cops and be like, dude, and the dispatchers, 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, the hotel manager's here sucking my toes. Like, sir, how many drugs have you ingested tonight? Like, no.
I'd be like, was he just buttering your toes, or was he enjoying like cinnamon toes, or you know what?
It's disgusting.
Did I just dad joke it? Yeah.
Did you just do the butter bait?
Yeah, this is pretty disturbing.
But this first story just gives you a glimpse into what Candy sends, because most of the time it's not even the story she sends us. It's a screenshot of the headline. So we have no other context to anything else. It's always just a screenshot of this headline, and it's like, look at this really nasty thing.
Well, this one we can call the White Totus. That'll be the name of this story.
Did we set the stuff out?
That's right here.
Oh, you brought it in here.
Oh, do you want to do this in between?
Do you want to do it first? Do you want to read the story?
No, we're going to
first?
read the story first, and then we're going to do.
Okay. Yeah, this is also a disgusting, terrible story.
So we're going to get effectively grossed out, and then we're going to try a special snack.
Okay, for the third and final Candy's Crazy Stories for this part 2 of the Thunder and Spark podcast, the very first edition. This is another from VT.com, and it is influencer had cartilage removed from her knee, put in spaghetti bolognese, and ate it. Okay. A Spanish influencer has stated that after she had surgery to remove cartilage from her knee, she and her boyfriend put it into spaghetti bolognese and ate it. In what might be one of the most bizarre things you read this week, Paula Ganu went under the knife as she had cartilage removed from her knee that was there due to a previous injury. The influencer spoke on the 113 podcast where she revealed that she had opted to stay awake during the procedure so she could watch the doctor operate on her knee. Red flag number 1.
Yep.
Following the successful operation, the 30-year-old was offered the opportunity to take the cartilage home, which she accepted because she had something pretty bizarre in mind. Ganu revealed that she took what had been removed from her body and cooked it up in some spaghetti bolognese that she shared with her boyfriend. The doctor used a camera. He operated through 2 holes and it was all up on the screen, Ganu revealed, per a translation from Spanish to English published by the Daily Mail. When asked whether she wanted to keep the cartilage, Ganu said, "I told him yes, and he put what he removed into a small container, like those used for urine samples. He put it in alcohol so it would stay that way for as long as I wanted." Then came the interesting conversation with her boyfriend about wanting to consume the cartilage, which doesn't seem like a conversation that many couples have. The influencer revealed that she informed her boyfriend about her intentions, and he questioned why she would want to do it. And she revealed to him that it wouldn't hurt her and she wanted to reinsert it into her body. So then I made a bolognese sauce, I added it in, and I ate it. I wanted to be able to say in my head that I've eaten a piece of my own meniscus, she continued. To make a meal, in case anybody is interested, the influencer simply made the bolognese as normal and added the flesh to the sauce. She explained that it didn't taste bad and that it was no different from eating worse animals, speaking to the Daily Mail. The Royal Australian College of General Practitioners said there are many things doctors recommend patients do following surgery, including recuperating slowly and carefully heeding all instructions given to them post-surgery. However, eating your own cartilage is certainly not one of them. It would seem that those who watched the YouTube video where the influencer revealed how she consumed part of her own body were also pretty shocked. "I almost threw up 1,000 times in the first few minutes about talking about food," one person wrote, with the second adding, "At what point did I decide that it was a good idea to watch this over dinner?" So the question is, does anybody fancy eating a part of their own knee to confirm whether Ganu's claims that it doesn't taste bad is correct? I would do it in the name of science, but unfortunately, I'm a vegetarian.
I bet she's a huge Army Hammer fan.
Army Hammer fan?
Yeah.
I don't get the reference.
Oh, man. I really wanted you guys to react to that one.
What's
Army Hammer, you know, the actor? The Winklevoss twin guy from Cannibalism? No? No bells?
No
Nobody?
bells.
Okay. Well,
I'm sure other people...
we're a really good pop culture podcast.
I'm sure other people will know what you're talking about here.
I mean, that's a whole thing. He got canceled and then recanceled. And then
was he eating flesh?
He wanted to. He tried to. He would message girls and stuff. And like, he wanted to like have them cut pieces of their skin off and he wanted to gnaw on them and stuff. And
what?
It was like a big thing. He got canceled. Anyway, I bet she might be a fan of him, but this is disgusting.
This is and her boyfriend, it doesn't say whether or not, it said they ate it, but then in the paragraph it said that they were...
She said discussing it with her boyfriend. So
and he wanted to know why she wanted to eat it. But I don't know if she just put it in her sauce and ate it or because she said she wanted it back in her body. But
well, opening line.
Yeah, that's
she
the
and her
opening
boyfriend
line,
put it into spaghetti bolognese and ate it.
Why? I mean, I understand that she's from a different country and maybe things are different in Spain, but...
I mean, I don't think that people eat...
I don't think you should eat stuff that they removed during surgery. I think that should be disposed of.
You know when you're eating chicken or steak and you hit that cartilage piece and you're like,
it's tough.
Yeah, I mean...
why would you want to put that in?
He was like, you know what? I bet ours would taste really good. Chicken and stuff, that's rough, but I bet human cartilage would be really good.
Super soft. There's a reason it shouldn't be in your knee. There's probably a reason it shouldn't be in your belly.
I wonder if she had recently watched The Lion King and was like, circle of life, circle of life, circle of life.
I don't know. I mean, I understand, I guess, doing things for views and clicks, but that seems a bit extreme.
Yeah.
It also
Speaking of doing really nasty things for views and clicks.
Segue.
She wanted to be awake during the operation.
That's also weird. I don't think
she wanted to watch it, and that's also so. I feel like there's some more weird stuff going on.
I think if I was like awake for a surgery, I would like have a panic attack in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. You know, because you're not able to feel it, and so that happening would just be like
when you can't move.
Oh my god,
basically paralyzed.
Yeah, no, There's
also like women after they have a baby, like sometimes we'll take their placenta and eat it. That. Like it's supposed to, I don't know what it's supposed to do. I would never do that.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Or they
but that's
plant
like a thing though. That's like a common thing.
Or like bury it or plant it.
Well, the placenta is supposed to be super, super healthy though.
Well, that's,
it's packed with all kinds of.
Well, and animals do. Like
but cartilage.
Yeah. Cartilage is not.
No, it's weird.
It's like the rubber of the human body. You know what I mean? It's just like.
So what do we think? Do we think she just did it for clicks and views, or do we think this girl has something going on
she's
because she wanted to be awake?
I don't know. She's got something going on if she wanted to watch it be taken out of her.
And it may just be a fascination with, the human body, or...
Let's just hope this doesn't like spiral into something else.
Maybe she was meant to be a coroner or something. Maybe she's just got some kind of like dissection fascination.
Yeah, but then the next headline is going to be coroner arrested for eating body parts. Like that's going to be the next headline. Like this is a slippery slope.
That's what I'm saying. That's a slippery slope. Like you don't like the first slip was being awake during surgery. Slip number 2 was wanting to take it home. Then all the way down the slope was putting it in your damn food.
With your boyfriend. Why did he agree to this?
Why would he be a part of this? Like they're not even like married.
I mean, there's a lot of weird fetishes out there, but is this one of them now? Like
I want part of me to always be a part of you.
Would you eat part of my knee?
I'd eat your whole knee, baby.
No, you would not eat part of my knee.
What do you celebrate on the 8th anniversary? Cartilage.
I believe the 8th year is the cartilage year.
I think it is the cartilage year. Yeah.
I'm like, well, actually, where my tonsils were. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. We don't need to go down the rabbit hole of the tonsil hole. But speaking of disgusting things that people try and eat, we thought it would be fun to try a little something that I found. I was at the grocery store a couple weeks ago, and I saw this, and it literally made me stop the shopping cart, look, and go, "You've got to be kidding me!" And that would be.
And he bought it.
Wait, we talked about it in part 1, didn't we? We talked about this and the fact that you went and found it and bought it.
It is limited edition
for a reason.
Van Leeuwen, Hidden Valley Ranch ice cream.
And
Holy Midwest, Batman.
That's what I was like. We are the Midwest.
So we thought we would give this a try.
So I was reading about this, like where I could find it and like buy it or whatever. Right. And there was you can cut that part off.
No, I'm looking at that.
I know, I was going to.
No, but they made Kraft macaroni and cheese ice cream.
Really?
The same Van Leeuwen.
So this company, I saw when I Googled it earlier, they have like 27 spring limited edition flavors. And to be fair, at the store today, when I was looking at it, they had other ones that would be like interesting flavors of ice cream, but were like normal, like carrot cake and red velvet and champagne and like all this. But the top of this says, good for you, probably. And it says, a life without anything good is bad. So we're going to try it. And this should be interesting because I'm a notoriously picky person. And candy.
And bought ranch flavored ice cream.
Okay, we're not off to a good start here with the packaging. Oh my God, it looks just like ranch.
So my taste and smell is really messed up. I think most of you guys know.
God,
most of you guys know this, so it's either going to be really good or really bad.
This is going to be really bad.
Well, we each have our cartilage spoons.
I think I'd rather eat cartilage than ranch flavored ice cream.
Hats off to these people because this clearly has worked, because even if we don't eat it, we've tried it. And I've bought 2 of them now because I have one at home and I forgot to bring it in today.
Clearly an impulse purchase for people that are way too high.
We have to eat it at the same time. So get your spoonful. And
oh, God.
You took a big bite.
I know. Well, we're going to commit full send. Oh my God. Do you smell it?
No, I can't smell.
It literally smells like a spoonful.
Are we doing this? 3, 2, 1, go.
It's disgusting. It's so bad.
You want to lick my spoon?
Oh, it's the aftertaste.
It's
the aftertaste.
So bad. Don't do it.
It's the aftertaste.
It's so bad. But I still have some on the spoon, so I'm just going to finish it.
No, don't do it.
Here, return to sender. That might be
what's
okay
weird is
with
there's
a carrot.
there's like a There is a hint of the sweet of ice cream in there, but then there's the overwhelming flavor of ranch.
It's the initial flavor for me was like vanilla ice cream. And then I was like, hey, this isn't bad. And then
it hits.
The ranch flavor hits like the back of your tongue. And then you're like, hold on.
I'm going to be sick.
Something ain't right here.
Speaking of doing things for clicks and views.
Oh, we've been wanting to I can't get it out of my mouth. I'm going to be tasting that for weeks.
So the interesting thing is I wonder what it actually tasted like for you because your taste is
way screwed
up. But that was awful.
I gotta go get a drink. I'm going to be sick.
Oh my God, that was so bad.
She had to you could hear her coughing out there still.
Oh my God. That was a terrible idea. Oh my God, whose idea was this?
I don't know.
I had to.
Oh my God.
Are we still filming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is all staying in.
I think we just made a TikTok right there.
Oh my gosh. I had to get something with flavor to get that.
That was bad. That was terrible.
Out of my mouth.
I just had a burp.
Don't. In case you're wondering, do not do it.
In summary, not great. Not great. Missed the mark on that one.
I feel like my burp was a cloud that looked like cauliflower.
But I also feel like it tasted exactly what you would think ranch flavored ice cream tastes.
Well, Hidden Valley Ranch is just...
Yeah, it's not great anyway.
It's not... I can't get it out of my mouth.
Ranch flavored ice cream pairs perfectly with your pizza roll flavored cake.
I don't think I'll ever be able to eat ranch again.
Maybe we should send a pint of that to her to go with her bolognese.
Put your cartilage in here. It'll be really good.
That's the only thing that could really make it better.
The burp was bad.
Yeah.
I chose
the burp is really bad.
I chose a carbonated drink.
I mean, that'll help you get it out of there, but that's going to be pretty much all that happens.
So and I don't know if other people that have issues with like COVID taste and smell, but when I like smell something, I can like smell that or taste, or same thing with taste. Like I can smell it or taste it for like weeks. Like I have that same flavor in my mouth.
Well, you're screwed.
I know. And I'm like wondering if this is going to be one of those flavors, and it's kind of freaking me out.
I feel like I need to go like brush my teeth and just take the toothbrush in my tongue. Like, ugh.
So, but random story, but we were driving to Pittsburgh, Kansas. And do you remember when we drove past, there was like a really mangled, somebody had hit some kind of roadkill. And it was like before we even got to it, it's like I could smell it. Like I could smell dead animal, because it was like something like in my brain was like, that's what it's supposed to smell like. Or like we were watching TV and somebody was burning incense and I could smell incense. Like,
well, smell is supposed to be one of the senses that is most closely tied to memory.
I don't think so.
So it could be yours are just working the opposite way now, and now memories like bring about certain smells.
That was terrible.
Well, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Do not.
And I think we just found a punishment for you were talking about that, and you did that.
You're gonna make me do this on live.
You did that to yourself because you did bring it up about it being a punishment on live.
If I can eat it with a carrot, I will.
I don't.
That would make it better. I
don't think that's going to stay down.
I'm not a sour cream fan either. It's like there's some flavors that just shouldn't be combined, and this is one of them. It's just not okay.
But I mean,
it's an abomination.
That was bad.
I'm struggling
that
really hard.
Okay, so there was one more thing that you wanted to talk about.
Well, I think it's kind of a key pillar of our podcast.
I can't go on. I can't. I'm going to be sick.
We're back from our puke session. Hopefully next time, that was gross.
That was
by the way.
Rough.
Hopefully next time we try something, we're going to have better treats to try, and we think that's actually going to happen because we have a new sponsor coming to us. It is trytreats.com. They're actually going to send us some international treats that we can start trying and filming. So we're looking forward to that. We've got their website pulled up right now, and this all looks much, much better than ranch flavored ice cream.
Much better than. I don't think anything can be worse.
I'd like to ban those words from this office.
Ranch flavored ice cream?
Yes.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah. So
that was.
I always like watching these videos where people will try the stuff from all different countries because each country has different flavors and stuff. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
I wonder what people think of treats that come from America. Like, I wonder what.
Too much sugar.
Yeah, too much processed food.
Something I think we've talked about before is that, the processing and a lot of the chemicals that we use as preservatives for it was high fructose corn syrup is outlawed in most of the rest of the world. We're one of the few countries that actually allows it. So it's probably,
They probably don't get excited about North America treats.
Yeah. Ugh.
It'll be interesting. And I'm going to venture out and say that it shouldn't be as bad of an experience as what we just had with that.
I don't think anything could ever be as bad as the experience that we just had.
So if you see it in the grocery store and you look at it and you think, I kind of want to try that. No, you don't.
Don't do
walk
it.
away. Save the money and walk away.
Just get vanilla bean and move on.
Yeah, vanilla bean, chocolate chip, do something. But whatever you do,
you keep.
Don't do
I still have burps coming up that. It's a good time.
I keep having the shudders like in my.
Does that mean we're officially content creators that we did that?
Yeah,
to make content.
Is that what it takes?
I think that's what it takes.
Is that what it takes?
Something disgusting and do it for views.
Okay, well that part's done. Okay, so you have another topic that you want to touch that you say is a pillar of the Thunder and Spark content strategy here.
I mean, I would consider it a pillar of our content.
I think if you've been watching for any time, you know that Tony and I are hardcore Swifties. Hardcore. I mean, for years, this isn't something that we've just jumped on.
We're not bandwagon Swifties here. We're not just showing up like, oh my gosh, I remember her Reputation album when I remember the first time. No, please. I've
been obsessed since Picture to Burn. I remember
classic.
I had just moved to Texas, Longview, Texas, and we were making that trip. And I remembered having that song and like on repeat in my car and could not stop listening to it.
I think you could probably take a look at either one of our For You pages on TikTok and start scrolling. You don't go very far without it being Taylor content. At least mine is anyway now, because all these videos that keep coming out, I'm like, oh, that's so good. And that's so good. And I just
that's what happens to me with the news stories on Facebook.
Yeah. Then you just go down the rabbit hole and it's all over. And you can see by Dusty's facial expressions that but don't let him fool you though. He likes Taylor.
He likes the new album for sure.
I have respect for her as an artist and as a businesswoman. Just a brilliant marketing strategist. But also, I get my education from Ava.
Oh my gosh.
Headed to school every morning. And today she's like, so it looks like T Swift has a new boyfriend.
Yep.
Which I'm not sold on.
And it's, what's his face from the 1975?
Matt Healy. Yeah. I'm not sold on that.
Well, apparently,
I'm surprised.
There are a lot of clues.
I will say that I'm
direction.
surprised. That's what I said. I said there's a trail of breadcrumbs going back quite a long ways.
Right.
Like when she sang the anti-hero at the, it was at their concert, and gee, why was she there? Like randomly popping on stage singing it because it was his show. But I'm just surprised that Ava admitted that.
She had such a hard time with the breakup.
She had a very tough breakup.
Yeah.
When Taylor.
She's still in mourning. She's still treating us like shit. Oh wait, that's just teenager.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. That's just where she is.
She hisses at us in the morning.
But
who was it? Was it Joe Alwyn before this?
Yeah.
Is that who it was?
For like a long time, for like 6 years.
We don't know. Through the COVID lockdown and everything, right?
But and I know the theories are going around there, but Candy also is on board with the theory about the Midnight's album.
Oh yeah, I think that it's a breakup album. I think that they've been broken up for quite a while.
Which the more you look at it and the more you listen to those songs, it does kind of make sense a little bit.
Yeah, I think she's, because those songs kind of mirror some of her earlier stuff, but in a breakup type tone, in an ending type tone, and refinding herself as a woman and not just as somebody's partner.
And I think you look at what she's doing in between tour stops when she's like in New York, and she's like very much back in her like 1989 era, which was all about being single and being with her friends and living life in New York and all that stuff. And you see that now when she's
right.
She'll miss him, but she misses sparkling. It's a lyric for one of her songs, right?
There you go. Listen to Dusty.
That's true. Look at him go. See?
Mic drop.
So here's the thing, though, I feel about Taylor Swift is that she is one of the most famous people in the entire world. And I do feel like she gets to spin, like, the narrative is hers to create. Like, no matter what the real narrative is, she's that famous that she gets to do. And, like, she can make us believe whatever she wants us to believe.
And we will do it every single time. I think I've talked to Dustin about this, and I know I talked to Dustin. I know. We did it again. It's going to take some time, but we talked about before that. Oh shit! I just lost my entire train of thought.
But she's
how about how she doesn't even have to create this content that people talk about. All she has to do is drop a tweet or a caption on Instagram, and next thing you know, TikTok is full of all these theories of people putting together. It's kind of like Charlie Day in Horrible Bosses when he's got the map with all the strings and he's going crazy because that's what Swifties do with everything she does, and she knows that, and she can work in a word in a intro to a song or anything, and we just go nuts over it.
You just get another ranch ice cream burp. Yeah, so the speculation content based off of everything that she does is a tidal wave, but she's become such a master at utilizing that and knowing. Sure. I mean, when you know that everything you do is under a microscope, you start being very intentional about everything that you do. And I think it was Reputation, whatever it came out, where she cleansed all of her social stuff and started from scratch and really started
taking. You didn't see her for like a year and a half.
Yeah, she really started taking a maniacal approach to everything that she did. Yeah, it's really interesting to see that
on the album.
To see that go through and to see what people are doing. So she's well aware that the eyeballs are on every single thing that she does, and I'm sure does some things to create the stir and to create the buzz, but that's what makes her such a brilliant marketer.
Right. That's what I was going to say. You can love her or you can hate her or just be indifferent about her, but you can't, you have to acknowledge that she's a marketing genius.
So here's an interesting thing. That's part of the reason.
And it's not just her. Like, I know she has a team behind her, but she also has crazy ideas, and to be able to execute those is amazing. Like, you have to acknowledge that she's really good at what she does, and she wouldn't be where she is today without that kind of brilliant mind that she has.
I feel like the majority of the brilliant strategy we see from her is her, and her team is just execuking her wishes. Some of the behind the scenes stuff. She's the one
who comes up with it all, I feel like, and then they just execute it. Yeah. Like you said.
Yep, I think that's the case. Tying into a conversation that we had last night, I think it was last night. Whenever things or ideas or platforms or apps get to a certain point of huge, they start to actually influence who we are as a people. And I think, in the frame of what we were talking about things like Facebook and like TikTok, because at a certain point of huge, they become subject to a lot more regulation. And it's not just social platforms, it's anything.
Right.
But I think from a governmental perspective, they look at, when something hits a tipping point where it gets so big that it affects who we are as a people, as a nation, that's when regulation starts to come in. However, you've got things like Facebook and TikTok and those kind of social platforms that have a massive impact and start to influence who we are as a people, which is why they become under such scrutiny for regulation. What about artists? What about how big does Taylor Swift have to get before we see some crazy shit like the government saying, okay, we're going to start regulating XYZ?
Well, I mean, she caused a congressional investigation into Ticketmaster.
That's true. That's true. But I'm talking more about
broke the internet.
More about her influence being regulated, because that's where the regulation comes from for like social platforms or apps or other ideas. It's not within a statute that says they have the ability to regulate artists as XYZ. And as an artist, it's much more First Amendment. Like, you have that to battle with, right? Like, you have freedom of speech. Whereas an artist, it would be much more difficult for them to regulate anything. But I see a point where someone gets such a huge influence, and she's the only one I know of that has this level of influence.
That's right.
It's crazy.
But I'm sure that someone in Washington is trying to figure out how they can control it.
But it's because they're threatened by it.
Oh, sure.
And so because you're so successful, we're going to be threatened by your success, and we want to regulate your success in a way that makes us feel more comfortable because we're not as successful.
Right. Well, they want to have control over the things that affect who we are as a people.
Which kind of that leads into the question that we had. The news story was, is Taylor Swift this generation's Michael Jackson? Is she as big as Michael Jackson? Does she have the following that Michael Jackson had?
I think it's well beyond that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you look at groups over. Look at Elvis. You look at the Beatles. You look at Michael Jackson. You look at those, and I mean, what she's doing right now is insane.
Right.
She sold like 3.9 million tickets is what was available for the Eras Tour. There are 14 million people trying to buy tickets that day. 14 million people trying to buy tickets that day. Some people got them. Some people did not. It happens. But the point is she's putting on these shows. She just played the show in Philadelphia. She sold 3 sold out nights in a row. And outside that stadium are thousands of people standing outside the stadium like they're at the concert, singing along.
Singing along to the
just
songs.
singing along to the songs and being there. And that doesn't happen. Who does that? No one. I mean, it's crazy. And I think, obviously, social media is a big part of building that. I mean, obviously, social media wasn't around for the Beatles and for Elvis and for, Michael Jackson and all that. But, I mean, it's just insane. And she has this ability to resonate and relate to people that it doesn't matter who it is, you can listen to a song lyric and she can make that relate to you. And I think that's so much of what her appeal is.
She's a lyrical genius. There's no question about that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say my wish collab is Jason Mraz for her, because her and Jason Mraz are both lyrical geniuses. And we haven't seen a lot from Jason Mraz, but I would love to see them do a song together. I think it would be glorious.
It would be. So Tony, the icons that you mentioned from before, like the Beatles and Elvis, the interesting thing with Taylor is that she's the first woman to have that level of influence. And I think that's, honestly, I think that's why you see her do it so much better. Because strategically, that's her mind is there. It's just really interesting to see, I think she has more influence than any of those that you mentioned before. If you looked at maybe not a per capita standpoint, take it per capita, take it total number of people that she has a direct influence over. I think the number's way higher than it ever was for the Beatles, for Elvis, for anyone for Michael Jackson.
And I mean, look at, those people didn't get tickets, but all the resale tickets, look what people are actually paying to still go see her. People are paying thousands and thousands of dollars to go see her. It's crazy. I mean, it's
I can't imagine
wild.
What she must be feeling like to have started where she started and to be where she is now. Like, I can't imagine what that kind of success feels like on your shoulders.
And with that success is you look at her and Joe, and it had to be very hard. How can you date and be with somebody who's the most famous person in the world?
I think she's married to her music.
Right.
I don't think she will, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think
she's gonna
her
Jennifer
true love.
Aniston it.
Yeah, she's Jennifer Aniston, the new Jennifer Aniston. I think she's in love with her music, and that's her passion, and that's what drives her, and that's what she gives to the world. And
so all the relationships that she has are just basically a mistress.
I feel like they're probably always feel like second place because nothing's ever going to compare to what she creates.
I think you would just have to accept that going in.
And I think another part of this that makes those relationships hard is you look at who, the different people she's dated over time, like they are famous, but then she is more famous and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. And I feel like it's probably very hard for those guys to deal with that too. Mm-hmm. Like, you're a celebrity but there's a mountain of paparazzi and fans out screaming, but they're not for you, they're for your girlfriend.
Right.
Like I feel like that's like ego wise, it's probably got to be tough too. Like just to be with somebody that famous has got to be tough.
Will also impact on their careers too, because poor John Mayer.
Oof.
Anytime as an artist, I enjoy his music, but every time his music comes up in the car and Ava's in the car, she's like, skip.
Yep.
Yeah, she won't listen to him.
She won't.
No. And hey, guess what? It's your turn, John, because that Speak Now album that drops in July, Jake Gyllenhaal's smiling because the pressure's off of him now. So it's all on John Mayer now.
Man,
once Dear John comes out, he's gonna have to relive the nightmare all over again. It's bad enough that Jake Gyllenhaal had to go through the 10-minute version of All Too Well.
Also, John Mayer dating like every famous woman that has ever been single is, I don't get it. I mean, I appreciate his music. It's not something I would seek out, but I don't get the attraction. So
this is why she's not impressed anytime I pick up the guitar at home too. I
love lyrics more than I love music, and he loves music more than lyrics. So he would rather know.
So as a musician, this didn't help me at all.
But he does sing me songs.
I do.
And I'm like, that's
mainly
nice.
from Madagascar, but
yeah,
and they're fine.
It's fine.
They're fine.
It's fine. It's fine. But he did it again.
That's a good way to end this. How does everybody feel about the word fine? Is it a compliment? Is it just placating someone?
How does my outfit look? It looks fine. What did you think of that video that we sent over? It was fine.
Yeah. So I apparently am unaware that fine. Well, I've learned that fine is apparently a trigger word for the Thunders because I don't even remember what it was. It was some video. It was a video that we did, and Dustin,
who's that?
Shit.
Here's the deal. Mediocrity is never our target.
I understand the mediocrity, but so I had said to him, he goes, "What did you think of the video?" I said, "It was fine." And you would have thought I told him that it was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. And I can't believe that you made that.
You pretty much did.
It was so bad that he told our friend who was the client, he was like, "Well, Tony hated it." I was like, "I did not."
So we need your input to decide, is fine an appropriate word to use to describe something when you're looking for feedback?
And I didn't know it was a trigger word for Candy either, because today she asked me what I thought of the first part of the podcast. And I said, "Yeah, it was fine." And she goes, "What was wrong with it? What do you want to change? What wasn't good? What wasn't good?" And I was like, "It was fine." No, something's wrong with it. And I'm like, I didn't know. Apparently,
fine and good are two separate, they're very different things. Fine is like.
But it could be different for different people. So maybe some people are just like, fine is what they mean when they like agree with it. It's great. It's good. Yeah, it's all.
Unless you mean sexy, and then fine, like.
It's more like fine.
You look fine.
Like, that's not what he said.
Yeah, that's a different use.
But I didn't realize it was such a trigger word, so I'll have to carefully choose my words. Or maybe now I'll just do it. Now I actually do it to Dusty quite a bit because I know that it bothers him. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. And he'll just give me the look.
Yeah. The most appropriate GIF would be you saying it's fine and me jumping out a window.
That's pretty much that first time I said that. You would have thought that I told him that everything he's ever done is garbage because he was like,
here's the deal.
Whatever.
In my work, put a lot of passion into it, and I'm pretty proud of the work that I do. So to put a lot of work and passion into something, and then to have someone review it before it goes to a client, and for that person, Tony, to say it's fine, is kind of a swift kick to the balls.
But it wasn't intended to be.
That's what I was going to say.
That wasn't my intention.
He doesn't use the word fine as a. It's
like
part of his vocabulary.
It wasn't like I wasn't trying to be a passive aggressive person and be like, it's fine. Like, no, that's not what it was. Like, it's fine.
It's just one of his words. And so that's our question.
Like, I could use fine and good interchangeably.
How many people use fine to describe something that they enjoy? That's my question.
Are fine and good the same thing?
You can't convince people with your eyes.
Look at him. Staring into the soul. He's like.
He's trying to get you to agree with him with his eyes.
Yeah. You just need to get the little black bar across there for that part of it.
I have been redacted, everyone.
He needs the Star Trek headband.
Jordy.
Yeah, whenever I was younger, I had a gold headband, and I used to wear it around my eyes when my brother would play. I don't know, little backstory for me.
Oh, that's flipping awesome.
But I feel like, so I think Taylor talk is probably going to be a pretty regular part of this podcast. Just because, especially we're in the midst of the Eras Tour, so something new is happening every weekend. And I'm sure that you guys are tracking all the surprise songs as well. And every time I see the updated spreadsheet, every time I see the TikToks where the people like do the spreadsheet and all that, I'm just praying that it's not one of the songs that Ava wants to hear because I feel so bad for her. Although she played a couple of really good songs this week from Fearless, and I was like,
Yeah, and
we're gonna get speak now.
I hear about that every day too.
Yeah,
like
every Monday
between the highway and school, every day is like. So she sang this as the surprise song, and I'm really hoping she doesn't sing this one, but she did sing this one, and that kind of broke my heart because I really wanted that to be one of the ones that I listened to as well.
Oh my gosh, this is like, that's such a teenager thing though. Like I was just remembering like having flashbacks to Caden when he was that age. Do you remember how obsessed he was with Supernatural?
Oh yeah. They find something, they just latch onto it.
And it's like they just have to know everything about it. The previous thing before Taylor's new album was for Ava was Stranger Things. And like she went down the TikTok rabbit hole of all the Stranger Things. Yes, for the next season, for the last season. Yes.
And as big as Swifties as Candy and I both are, Ava, I think, takes the cake.
Oh my gosh.
She probably knows more about Taylor Swift than we'll forget.
She could probably create
that's not how that
an entire
that's not how that goes, but
oh, do you have a candy
I said
moment?
a candy moment. She's probably forgotten. Wait, how's it? It's forgotten more about Taylor Swift
more than we'll ever know.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
She's
Wait, what did you say before we started filming today? You said something that was like a.
Oh, I said let that tinkle in your brain. I don't know.
And we still don't know where she was
still
going
don't
with
know
it.
what she was actually trying to say. Dustin thought maybe she meant percolate.
Let that
I don't think
percolate.
that was it.
No,
Let that
just like
ferment
letting
in
it
your
run
mind.
around in your brain for a minute, like
Let it
like
fester.
liquid.
Yeah.
Let it slosh around and see how you feel about it.
I don't really want thoughts urinating in my brain. Let that tinkle in your mind.
Ruminate?
You guys-
That's a word. Ruminate, maybe?
I am so awkward. Everything about me is awkward. So
It provides us with great entertainment.
yes, it does. I don't know.
And for all of you that on a daily basis look at us and think, how the hell? Because they know that I married way up. This is why. It's because she was socially awkward, and I'm just as socially awkward.
No,
Or
you're not.
I'm just as awkward.
I don't know if you're as
We had this
socially-
conversation. We had this conversation already.
If somebody I don't know looks at me, I'm like, oh my God. I'm a hardcore introvert. You are not that. You wave to our neighbors on like every walk, and I'm like, don't. And I'm not a mean person. I'm not.
But do you accuse them of not waving at you?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh.
Actually, one of our neighbors, who's really
The
sweet,
headphone thing is happening.
stopped and apologized because I waved at her and she didn't wave back. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I looked up and you were waving and then we were passing each other. And I'm like, no, it's really okay. But I get it because I feel like we might be some of the same type of person. Like
You two are equally awkward, which
she
is
sticks to
which is
herself,
why
or equally introvert.
Which is why you can never be friends, because like your bubbles will never get close enough for you to actually.
But we'd probably really like each other.
You would. You'd be besties for life, but because you're both awkward, you will never fully collide.
But it's funny because when Candy will be saying stuff, like she's always like, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. Like if you don't react to it right away or to something, like she'll just be like, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. And I'm like, what? No, it was fine. Like,
Oh, well, that makes it okay.
Oh,
it was
God.
fine.
fine.
It's fine. Oh God, it was bad. Oh,
I
no.
feel attacked.
It's fine, Tony.
It's fine. But yeah, so
You know what else is fine? Diet Coke.
hey, they're not sponsored.
Candy Thunder's love for Diet Coke will never fade.
Nope. I know it's
Thank
going to take me out
God
someday.
that it tasted right. Like it, you didn't.
Right? There's some times where I can't drink it. Like I can't. It gets weird for me, but then it'll circle. I know if I give it a week, it'll circle back around.
She has a very specific protocol when it comes to Diet Coke for the ones that actually taste right to her.
I go through like I can have like a fountain drink or I can have it out of a bottle or a can, but sometimes I can taste the metal from the can, so it tastes weird to me. But then sometimes I can taste the plastic from the bottle.
And sometimes she comes in like a crazy cup lady and she's got a styrofoam cup and a Stanley cup and a Walmart bag full of bottles and cans. Then she has to put the can in the koozie in the freezer to get it the optimal temperature to be able to drink.
I know, and COVID only made that worse. It only made I need a Diet Coke to be very cold.
She'll start drinking it and then she'll go back to it and she's like, nope, it's not cold anymore. I can't drink this.
That's very true.
I'm used to it. I know where like the couple gas stations around here are that she either likes the fountain Diet Coke or likes their cups and ice. So like I know the strategy. As long as you're aware of what tastes good right now, I feel like you can work with it.
But I do want to say that I get like 100 to 120 ounces of water a day. So I'm not just like sucking down Diet Coke all day. Sure. I make sure that I have a very balanced liquid diet.
You're like, I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why I said that. I don't know. It's fine. It's
I
fine.
don't know why I said that. I don't know why. Sorry.
Don't look
She's
at
over
me.
here justifying her Diet Coke addiction.
Okay. I think
Sweating.
what you've witnessed in part 2 so far will be something that will be ongoing. So we'll have some crazy Candy stories or Candy's crazy stories.
Okay.
Not yeah. Gotta be careful how you word that one.
That'll be a different podcast. Is crazy Candy stories.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think our goal with this podcast was, one, to get to know me and Tony more as part of the Dusty Thunder like umbrella brand and having our own thing, but also like more personable, not just Reddit stories, and just kind of getting to know the people behind the camera a little bit. So
Yeah. Which I think this is a great look for, and getting you two involved with direct feedback to some stories, but also or some Reddit stories. But the news stories are great for too. Doing some fun activities like eating really gross shit. That's great. But then just T-Swift talk, random talk. The stories that we get into personally, I always find are very entertaining. I hope that you do as well. And we want to hear from you what you think of this show and this kind of approach, and what you would like to see Tony and Candy do more of in this podcast. So
I can see it now. The comment section is being flooded with, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I do want to note that we aren't taking anything away that we're already previously doing. We'll still have, the podcast with a guest. We'll still have the lives and the daily stories on TikTok and YouTube. So we'll still have all of that stuff. This is in addition
We're just giving you more content.
Yes.
That's the game this year, is just finding new ways to come up with new content and new ways to do things that aren't just more of the same. So right now, I go live twice a week. One's a multi-stream, one's TikTok only. We post Sunday through Thursday on TikTok, post every day on YouTube, and do the weekly compilations there, as well as the podcast channels like Spotify. And we have monthly-ish podcasts that come out now too, and we'll be doing this at whatever frequency. Yeah. So there's all kinds of newer content this year, and we'll just keep growing it out with doing new things. So if you have ideas for things that you would like us to cover in this podcast or anything, leave us a comment and let us know.
Yeah, and the same that you're sending in stories. If you find crazy news stories or crazy Taylor Swift stories or pop culture,
maybe we can add that to the website.
Yes, you can send that in the contact as well.
Candy's crazy stories. Submit a Candy crazy story. There you go.
Yeah.
Candy isn't crazy.
No,
just her stories.
Candy's crazy stories. Yes. That's the subhead. Candy isn't crazy, just her stories.
Yeah,
she's fine.
Also follow our Instagram, Thunder and Spark.
Yeah, Thunder and Spark do have their own Instagram now, and you'll see as we continue this adventure, a lot more being posted independently there. So make sure you go follow that. That's the only one that is an independent channel right now, right?
Yes, we'll be sharing like clips from this on the Dusty Thunder TikTok, and then of course we'll be using the same YouTube channel to share this content.
Yep. So if you're subscribed on the Dusty Thunder stuff, you'll see this content as it comes out. Yes. Cool. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for this podcast. It's been fun. The very first edition of Thunder and Spark here. Let us know what you think. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
We got to do a little dance because I'm sure we'll have some kind of music. Nope, I'm the only one. That's fine.
So I'm just...
Well, they said on the interview that I saw, it was...
I'm sorry, my nose is dripping down my face. It's literally falling out of my...
See what we have to work with, people. Goose fraba.
Put some tissues in your pocket.
It was like caught in the corner, and at any moment it was going to come down my face. No, I'm sorry.
Well, just
I brought a tissue.
Just kick him. Happy anniversary.
You need help?
Aw.
There you go.
Oh, now I can hear you guys again.
Okay, so
I don't remember where we were at.
CBS sucks.
CBS sucks.
Paula, is it Paula? Yeah, Polygonu. Troy Polygonu.
Follow Anton. No.